Mamata Banerjee was responsible for bringing BJP in West Bengal because she sailed with BJP. She had an alliance with NDA. She supported BJP when Gujarat was burning on 30th of April 2002. She became a minister. She had a hidden alliance with BJP in 2016. The left destroyed the Muslim community. That Sachar committee is a mirror to them. So, these are the people who are not that clean at all. In her election manifesto, she is afraid to even use the word Muslim. She is afraid to even give in her report card what her government has done for the Muslims. And I challenge her to show it. Please show. And then her appeal that Muslims, minorities should unitedly vote for me, don't divide your vote, otherwise NPR and NRC will come. How dare you say that? Why don't you say it to your Gotra community? Why don't you say it to the Hindu Brahmins? What right have you got to tell it to minorities? Unitedly vote. Say that to the Hindu community. Vote unitedly for me. Would you say that? No, you wouldn't say that. So this clearly shows that what is the mindset which these political parties have.
So, koi post-poll alliance, which would be the alliance that you would have the least problem with in Bengal if you were to make one after the election?
Who will touch me? No one wants to touch me even with a barge pole. I am a B team. I have got money from BJP. I am a vote cutter for all these so-called secular parties. So where is the question of, I am the most untouchable person. I have no issues about it. You have districts where Muslims are more than 30%. There is clear discrimination, whether it's Bihar, whether it's UP or West Bengal. And I can challenge and debate with anyone with empirical evidence not created by me or you but by the government agencies. That is the consistent, continuous discrimination which I am seeing in all these three states which you have mentioned. If you think that I'm political untouchable, so be it. Because end of the day, any political party which contests elections, you don't contest elections to defeat someone or to ensure another party wins. You contest election to win based on what you stand for, and that is what we continue to do.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Epicenter, our video series on the Bengal election, as Bengal right now is the epicenter for all the political action in the country. Today I have with me Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, who is the president of the AIMIM. He's also a member of parliament in the Lok Sabha from Hyderabad, and in fact he's in Kolkata for just 24 hours, but he's been very, very kind to give us time and speak to a small independent channel like us. So thank you so much for talking to us. So finally, आपके party ने they've ended the speculation about whether AIMIM is going to contest in Bengal elections. You've announced that you are contesting on 7 seats. Sir, I want to start with asking you, how did you narrow it down to these 7 seats?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's not 7 seats, but 6 seats. Now, this decision was based on the party organization, the party structure, and the candidates which we had. So this is the first election which we are going to fight in West Bengal. And so normally, whenever we fight elections in states, it's not, in large number, but we go according to our basic organization strength and structure and the candidates' availability. And that is what...
but पहले 7 seats बोला था, फिर अभी...
No, it is 6 seats now.
Okay.
So
which seat is not going to, you're not going to...
There's one in Malda which we're not contesting, which was earlier said that we'll contest.
अच्छा, Ritwa.
Yes.
Ratwa,
Ratwa, yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 6 seats.
Okay. Why did it take you so long to announce your seats in Bengal? Because 3-4 महीने तक तो हमने सुना ही नहीं था कि असदुद्दीन ओवैसी यहाँ से contest करेंगे, नहीं करेंगे बंगाल से.
We knew where to contest, and it's in the 7th phase or the 77th April is the polling.
So 6, 7, then 8.
So that was it. So timing is all right. Yes, we could have done it maybe a week earlier, 10 days earlier, but anyway, it has happened.
But you knew that you wanted to contest from Bengal, and it wasn't like a last minute.
No, not at all. It's not a decision which was made Even it's not an impulsive decision that I can say.
सर आप जनवरी में कलकत्ता आए थे. यू वेंट टू फुरफुरा शरीफ. यू मेट विद अब्बास सिद्दीकी एंड इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ डन डील कि आप और अब्बास सिद्दीकी साथ में बंगाल इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट करेंगे. फिर उसके बाद ही वेंट एंड ही मेड एन अलायंस विद द कांग्रेस एंड द लेफ्ट. व्हाट वेंट डाउन सर? व्हाई डिड दैट अलायंस नॉट हैपन?
Well, on January 3rd, 2021, I came down to Kolkata. I went to Furfura Sharif, met Pirzada Abbas Siddiqui Saab and his brother, Mr. Noshad. And we had a talk, and we decided that we'll be together, we'll be part of what Pirzada Abbas Siddiqui is going to do. But later on, you're right, he had an alliance, he went in and had an alliance with left and Congress. So that was it about it. So, I don't want to comment more on it, but he was very kind to me, gave me a lot of respect when I was there. But I don't know what made him decide to go with Congress and left.
सर एक्चुअली हमने अब्बास सिद्दीकी जी से भी बात किया था और वो हमें कह रहे थे कि आपके इनिशियल मीटिंग के बाद he didn't have any sort of a contact with you. मतलब आपसे he could not reach you. आपसे कोई बात नहीं हुई उसके बाद. There was no inclination as to what happened.
I don't want to really go down that lane of divulging so many things which would be embarrassing for him. But the fact is that we did give him a list of assembly constituencies where we wanted to contest, which he wanted, which we had given it to him. Now, I wouldn't want to go beyond that, but we did give him a list. My party observer for West Bengal was Mr. Majid Hussain, who happened to be an ex-mayor of Hyderabad. So anyway, it is over now. We are contesting elections without any alliance now.
Yeah. So how do you look at this partnership of the ISF with the Congress and the left?
Well, I'm not the right person to answer about someone else's alliance. It is for those three parties to answer on this question. It was. I don't know about it. I'm not privy to what happened between them. But I can tell you for a fact very little knowledge I have about West Bengal politics. The left and the Congress are a spent force. Their main vote bank has gone to BJP and to Trinamool, and that is why you see that mainly BJP. That is why BJP's vote share has jumped to 40%. So, this is what I know. But anyway, this question, would have been answered in a more appropriate way by all the other parties.
So, the contenders for the Muslim vote bank in Bengal, there are so many now. Of course, there's the Trinamool, there is the Congress Left ISF Alliance, and now you have also come into the fray. Why did you feel the need to contest from Bengal?
Well, number one, that in a free country, every political party has a right to contest.
Absolutely.
And that is what we have been doing. We feel that, and we strongly feel that to find answers to issues pertaining to especially minority disempowerment, have an equal share in the political system, and to have an effective voice in a democracy. That is why we contest elections. And West Bengal having 27% of minority Muslim, 22% of the Dalit vote, and every social economic indicators show that especially the minorities and Dalits are way behind. And that is why we contested the elections, and this is not going to be a one-off election where we contest and then we forget. This is going to be a long journey. We'll be contesting after this the forthcoming local body elections and also parliament elections. So that is what, and moreover, I am of the opinion that after reading all the empirical evidence, that how 80% of Muslims of rural Bengal, they earn only 5,000 rupees per month. 38% they earn only 2,500. You have 16% of Muslim children within the age of 6 and 9 who don't go to school. You have lesser number of Muslim households having tap water. You have lesser number of Muslims having the drainage system is open or covered. The share in government employment is 6%. Population is 27%. The share in jails is 38%. I can go on. The list is very high, and also main reason was that BJP is getting stronger in West Bengal, and it is because of the incapacity and incapability of the left, Congress, and TMC. That BJP has gained a lot of ground over here, despite MIM party not contesting. So these are the various reasons we feel that we should contest, and we'll keep on contesting.
So, but the division of Muslim votes actually ends up helping the BJP only, don't you think?
Why don't we talk about the division of the Hindu Brahman vote, as Mamata Banerjee has claimed to be? Why don't we talk about that Gotra which Mamata Banerjee comes from, that division of that vote? Why don't we talk about
majority vote, right?
Exactly.
We're talking about the minority.
Why not? Why don't we talk about it? Why is it that this whole focus is on the Muslim vote? Why not talk about the Dalit vote? Why not talk about the Matwa vote? Why not talk about the Rajbanshi vote? But this stereotyping and this focus only on as if the Muslim vote is going to decide everything. Why not, every section of the society votes, and then leads to a result of win or lose. But this fascination, phobia about the Muslim vote is completely wrong. But if you are so concerned about the Muslim vote, then the question arises how well they are developed, how in a systematic way the left and the TMC and earlier Congress have disempowered them. So, this question will be raised.
Right. So in Bihar, AIMIM surprised everybody and won 5 seats out of the 20 that they contested on. And after that, the whole narrative was about how Asaduddin Owaisi is BJP's B team. Do you think that sort of a narrative is something that can be expected in Bengal also?
See, I'm not really concerned about all these so-called narrative allegations, which are all baseless allegations. End of the day, I am not answerable to all these political parties who have been per se responsible for bringing down the Muslim community in every sphere of life. As far as Bihar is concerned, we contested 5 years ago 6 seats. We lost deposit in 5 seats. We saved deposit in 1 seat. Then we contested the parliament election of Kishanganj. We got 3 lakh odd votes. This was the third election. We contested 20 seats. We won 5. In the remaining 9, the Mahagathbandhan won. The remaining 6 was won by NDA. Now, where is this question of me contesting, which led to BJP winning? In fact, the Mahagathbandhan won 9 seats. But please remember that before elections, 6 months before elections, I had approached the topmost leaders of the RJD for an alliance, which they refused. Our party president Akhtar Ul Iman went all the way from Kishanganj to Patna, not once but twice. They refused. So now, if you think that I'm political untouchable, so be it. Because end of the day, any political party which contests elections, you don't contest elections to defeat someone or to ensure another party wins. You contest election to win based on what you stand for, and that is what we continue to do.
पोस्ट पोल अलायंस वो हो जाता अगर उन्होंने 110 सीट ही मिले थे उनको अगर इफ दे कुड हैव मेड दैट हाफवे मार्क देन डेफिनेटली दे वुड हैव वांटेड एन अलायंस विद यू आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग दैट वुड यू वांट अ पोस्ट पोल
इवन नाउ दे आर सो एरोगेंट so full of themselves that even for a deputy speaker election the RJD and Congress don't even want to speak to my party president who happens to be the party assembly. They don't even speak to them. This shows their arrogance. Fine, you want to go ahead, we'll go ahead. So that is not our concern. We fought on the basis of the underdevelopment and the injustices which have been committed on the area of called Seemanchal. And that is our fight. We'll continue to fight for justice of Seemanchal.
So, koi post-poll alliance, which would be the alliance that you would have the least problem with in Bengal if you were to make one after the election?
No, who will touch me? No one wants to touch me even with a barge pole. I am a B team. I have got money from BJP. I am vote cutter for all these so-called secular parties. So where is the question of, I am the most untouchable person. I have no issues about it. So this question does not arises. This question will arise only when
There's a hung
only when,
assembly or
only-
something?
No, only when the political parties clear their minds, clear their cobwebs which they have, and they come out of this so-called, their arrogant attitude of being holier than thou attitude. That is what it is. Mamata Banerjee was responsible for bringing BJP in West Bengal because she sailed with BJP. She had an alliance with NDA. She supported BJP when Gujarat was burning on 30th of April 2002. Then she became a minister. She had a hidden alliance with BJP in 2016. The left destroyed the Muslim community. That Sachar committee is a mirror to them. So, these are the people who are not that clean at all.
So, how different do you think that the Muslims in Bengal are in comparison to maybe a Bihar or a UP? How do you look at, in the sense that in terms of their mindset, in terms of the circumstances?
Wherever you have districts where Muslims are more than 30%, there is clear discrimination, whether it's Bihar, whether it's UP or West Bengal. And I can challenge and debate with anyone with empirical evidence not created by me or you but by the government agencies. That is the consistent, continuous discrimination which I am seeing in all these three states which you have mentioned. West Bengal has the highest number of Muslim dropouts or who have not been enrolled after UP, Bihar and West Bengal. Either they have not been enrolled in schools or they dropped out because of not having the financial wherewithal to continue the Muslim girl or boy's education. This is not me. This is the empirical studies which have been done.
So you're saying that Mamata Banerjee's Muslim appeasement is just a farce?
In her election manifesto, she is afraid to even use the word Muslim. She is afraid to even give in her report card what her government has done for the Muslims. And I challenge her to show it. Please show. Because I am telling you all this data that there are only 6% employment she has given, 6% Muslim representation in the government. And if this continues, it will take 60 years for Muslims to have their proportional representation in government employment. You have given Muslim reservation, but you don't amend the act, you amend the rules. You give a reservation to Rajbanshi Muslims, but you don't give it to Shershawadi Muslims. I can go on. So, and then her appeal that Muslims, minorities should unitedly vote for me, don't divide your vote, otherwise NPR and NRC will come. How dare you say that? Why don't you say it to your Gotra community? Why don't you say it to the Hindu Brahmins? What right have you got to tell it to minorities? Unitedly vote. Say that to the Hindu community. Vote unitedly for me. Would you say that? No, you wouldn't say that. So this clearly shows that what is the mindset which these political parties have.
The kind of communalism, the kind of...
You must ask this question to Mamata Banerjee for bringing in BJP.
The kind of polarization that we're seeing in Bengal.
You must ask this question to the left front. That how is it that their cadre have joined the BJP? You must ask this question to the left and Mamata Banerjee. Because Mamata Banerjee brought BJP to West Bengal, gave them the ground, the space, and the left front gave them the cadre. There is empirical evidence. I know, if I am not wrong, if my memory serves me right, I read a very beautiful article in Hindu newspaper a month or 2 months ago, wherein it clearly showed how the BJP occupied the left and the Congress vote share, and and gobbled it up, and how their cadre is supporting. And thanks to Mamata Banerjee for bringing them. She had a hidden alliance with them in 2016. You give them space, you give them whatever is needed to grow, and then you call me with all the names which you have. it is for them to, what you sow, you'll reap.
So apart from the ISF, did you have any sort of a conversation with any other political party in Bengal?
No.
Or any alliance or anything?
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So how confident are you on these six
We'll definitely
seats?
We are confident. We'll work very hard. We'll try our utmost best, and we want to ensure that our party, is established more, gets strengthened on the ground, and we create confidence, and then people of Bengal will bless us with their support, with their votes. So this is start of a journey basically, which will not back down. No.
So I'm really interested to know, why did you not contest in Assam this time?
No, I have my party stand is very consistent that we will not contest in Assam or in Kerala, because in Assam AIDF Badruddin Ajmal Sahab is there. In Kerala, Indian Muslim League is headed by the Tangal family, which I have a lot of respect for them. Despite the Muslim League leaders talking, in an unparliamentary way about me, but still that is my stand.
So last question, was Bihar, Bengal, is this a stepping stone for UP next year?
No, UP already 5 years ago we contested. Then afterwards we contested local body elections. We won many local body elections. In UP now, as compared to 5 years, we are very, very strong. And I'm sure that in the next assembly elections, we will do very well. Our candidates will become, inshallah, MLAs. As of now, we have an alliance with Mr. Om Prakash Rajbar, who we are part of that Bhagidari Sankalp Morcha. But definitely UP would be much better, and after these elections are over, I'll be spending and giving more time in Uttar Pradesh, because you have hardly 6, 7 months, 8 months left. So we'll be working more hard in UP.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. All the best. Thank you. If you like this video, don't forget to virtually like this video as well. Share the video with your friends and your followers, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and also hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our channel. Support this channel to support and encourage independent journalism in the country. Thank you so much for watching.